Wong Kar-wai is a Hong Kong-based movie director, screenwriter, and producer. He began his career as a soap opera screenwriter before moving onto film scripts. 1994's Chungking Express and 1997's Happy Together skyrocketed his fame, making it just a matter of time for his 2000's In the Mood for Love to be considered a must-see classic. Wong Kar-wai is fairly known for rewriting the script on the fly as inspiration came, which in consequence turned his works into non-linear stories. One would think that rewriting a movie script while it's shooting could be a recipe for total inconsistency, but it's precisely this risky style that turned Wong into what he is. In the Mood for Love is no exception. The movie's shooting actually lasted 15 months, which is a really long time, but part of the reason was because Wong and his crew would rewrite the script to turn the film into the beautiful work of art it is. In the Mood for Love is the story of two married couples who happen to move into the same apartment complex in 1960s Hong Kong. Focusing primarily on the husband of one of the two couples, Mr. Chow, and the wife of the other, Mrs. Chen, it is only a matter of time until they discover that their spouses are cheating on them with each other. The two victims of infidelity will later deal with their pain by reenacting the events that sparked their spouse's affair. The beautifully taken shots, the costumes, the colors, and a catchy soundtrack are some of the aspects that make this movie so pleasing to watch. However, I must say that what really takes the storytelling into another level are the filmographic devices that Wong uses throughout the movie. You could take a random shot of the movie and chances are that you would find the characters around an artificial frame. And no, I'm not talking about the film frame, I'm more talking about random objects that fill the screen space, leaving just enough area for the characters to be visible. It almost feels as if we're observing them, spying them from behind a car or a corner or through a window. Let us remember that the story takes place in 1960s Hong Kong, which was still under British rule. And also, it was there that underwent constant immigration of people from mainland China who were trying to escape the Cultural Revolution. This meant that living complexes were just not enough for everyone, and it was fairly common for strangers to share apartments. Afraid of turning into the object of gossiping, the couple will try its best to keep their reenactment a secret, a task that is almost impossible given the observant and nosy nature of their neighbors.
聽到我有咩都認識咯。係啊，而之前呢，出去寫寫先，不想想是應該嘅，不過又要分層啊。
Another device that Wong implements is the complete control of time. The movie will feel somewhat fast for some, with jumps of indeterminate length and repetitive scenery. It is fairly easy for the viewer to feel lost and confused, myself included. Perhaps it is a consequence of Wong's non-linear style, which surely works in his favor. The movie will feel as if it was told by someone from memory, which in itself is another reminder that the couple's affair is just a fantasy. Wong playfully tricks us by not making it obvious when Mrs. Chan and Mr. Chow are being themselves or acting as their spouses. This makes it hard for us to understand their true relationship, but we aren't the only ones being tricked. By continuing with this reenactment, Mrs. Chan and Mr. Chow can delay the moment in which they have to see things as they truly are, just a reenactment. But of course, they can't keep this forever, and it's in this scene where Mr. Chow admits his love for Mrs. Chan that things take a huge turn. He mentions how they are like their spouses, and which in itself is proof that they have been refusing to accept their true feelings for each other. But what's twisted about all this ordeal is that one will never know whether they truly love each other or the acting of their respective spouses. I must say, however, that I feel quite sad for Mrs. Chan and Mr. Chow. Since the very beginning of the movie, we find clues that make it seem as if their encounter was meant to be, almost as if it were destiny pulling its strings to make something happen between the two of them. First, they move into the same complex the very same day, then they meet multiple times in seemingly random places, like the noodle stall they frequent for dinner. But then Wong reminds us that this relationship is nothing more than an act. Like in this scene where we see Mrs. Chan rehearsing with Mr. Chow a confrontation with her husband. The killer words here being, "this is just rehearsal," are very heartbreaking for whoever wanted something to happen between the two. All in all, In the Mood for Love is a brilliant work that goes beyond what is seen on the screen. The story is strongly backed up by incredible actors that will make an amazing job at portraying two heartbroken individuals. Through the employment of colorful scenery and costumes and a beautiful soundtrack, this movie is indeed enough to make anyone feel in the mood for love.